All right, Nolan, this is 13. I don't know if it's too late for you to deal with this, but I'm going to send this in a second. So here's the problem as originally written. This is 13. And you might notice that on the right side, we have just a single fraction. On the left side, we have two fractions. So one thing we might think about doing is get a common denominator on the left to turn that into one fraction. What would that common denominator be? It would be, I have no common factors in these two denominators. So I got to multiply top and bottom of this fraction by tan t by this denominator, and top and bottom of this fraction by 1 minus cotangent of t. And that looks like that could be good, because then I'll have, I'd be multiplying this numerator by tan t and get a tan squared, and I'd be multiplying this by 1 minus cotan t, and that would be, the factored form of difference of squares, so I'd have 1 minus cotangent squared of t. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get tan squared t in the numerator of the first fraction. I'm going to get tan t. I'm just going to write it out. I'm not going to distribute. And then the second fraction is going to end up being 1 minus cotangent squared of t over, again, tan t times 1 minus cotangent of t. And let's see. So I'm going to put those guys together, and I get a tan squared t plus 1 minus cotangent squared of t all over that common denominator. Now let's do it a little aside. And I'm going to just say sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. Because I don't want this cotangent squared there in the numerator, because over here I got cosecant squared. Well, I know that there's some some Pythagorean identity that that'll at least let me get rid of this cotangent squared. So let's see what that is. I want cotangent, so I'm going to divide everything by sine squared. That's going to give me 1 plus cotangent squared equals cosecant squared. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, I'm going to solve for cotangent squared. In fact, I'm really going to solve for negative cotangent squared. And if I do that, I'm going to get 1 minus cosecant squared equals negative cotangent squared. You can see what I did there. I just subtracted this from both sides and subtracted this from both sides to get to here. Now, instead of negative cotangent squared, I'm going to call it 1 minus cosecant squared. And I got to be careful with my signs because I already have a negative sign there. So on the top, I'm going to get tangent squared plus 1. And then doing this carefully, I'm going to have a plus 1 minus cosecant squared of t. That is just substituting this for this. On the bottom, I still have tan t times 1 minus cotangent of t. Okay, so up in the numerator now, I've got tan squared t plus 2 minus cosecant squared of t. On the bottom, if you think about this, when I distribute this tan t through the parentheses, I'll just get a tan t there, and then I'll have tan t times negative of cotangent of t. Well, tan t times cotangent of t just equals 1, because those are inverses of each other. So when I do that distribution, on the bottom, I'm going to get tan t, and then again, tan t times negative cotangent of t is just equal to -1, and we get that, and that is our answer. All right, Nolan, I'll talk to you later.